Sometimes the way is lonely and steep and filled with pain. So if your sky is dark and pours
the light, saith the Lord, he that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Let us pray. O Master eternal, give to each of us the deep consciousness of thy presence, that the spirit of fraternity may so direct our thought, guide and control our hearts and lives, that we may become through thee servants of all mankind. And we all say, Amen.
In our dear fraternal spirit minds, all the noble, the true and courageous, and leads scholarship and love for all mankind are the aims of our dear fraternity. Alpha Phi Alpha, the pride of our hearts, and loved by us dearly art thou. We cherish thy precepts, thy banner shall be raised to thy glory, thy honor and renown.
Invictus by Sir William Ernest Henry. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I think wherever God may be, my unconquerable soul. In a fair plus of circumstance, I had not written nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but I'm violent. Beyond this place of wrath and tears, blooms for the horror of the sin, and yet the minister of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishment is scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Invictus by Sir William Ernest.
The scripture lesson. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In him was life, and the light of men. Then spoke Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world, but shall have the light of life. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of the darkness, has shown in our hearts to give the light of knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Ye are the light of the world. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. And we all say, Amen. Amen. The Litany. O Father of light and giver of light, look with favor upon thy creatures here assembled,
And grant us thy blessing.
O thou who hast led man through the ages of his existence upon the earth of thy spirit,
Grant us thy continued guidance.
thou who dost generate love and goodness in hearts, and the desire for fellowship one with the other in life's living,
Increase thy spirit in us.
thou who hast called our brother from his past to the reward of noble thoughts and deeds,
Keep our memory of him.
thou who art the light of the new heaven, the new earth, the new Jerusalem, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end of all creation.
Grant a final resting place to thee, all who thou hast called, and finally ourselves. Amen. the house of Alpha. Goodwill is the monarch of this house. Men unacquainted shake hands, exchange greetings, and depart friends. Cordiality exists among all who abide within. I am the imminent expression of friendship. If character and temperament change under my dominant power, lives once touched by me become tuned, and thereafter are amicable, kind, and fraternal. I inspire the musician to play noble sentiments, and assist the chemist to convert ungenerous personalities into individuals of great worth. I destroy all ignoble impulses. I constantly invoke principles which make for common brotherhood and the echoes resounding of all communities, princely men, and thereby recognized. Education, health, music, encouragement, sympathy, laughter. All these are specific of interest given on self, invested capital. Tired moments find me a delightful treat. Hours of sorrow, a shrine of understanding. And at all times, I am faithful to the creed of companionship. To a few, I am the castle of dreams, ambitious, successful, hopeful. To many, I am a poetic palace, where human feelings are grind to the celestial movement motives. To great majority, I am a treasure of good fellowship. In fact, I am the college of friendship, the university of brotherly love, the school for the better making of men. I am Alpha Phi Alpha.
At this time, we will hear words of tribute. Various brothers.
I'd like to say a few words in reference to my brother, Sam Gay. I say brother because we almost grew up together. We started primary school together, right down the street here, Liberty City Primary School, and City Elementary School. Brother Sam and his older brother, Brother James, were almost inseparable. Anytime he saw one, he saw the other. They went to school together, they came home together. On an occasion, I saw them beat up somebody together. But that's how they were. My father and Brother Gay's father were also very good friends, coming from Valdosta together. So therefore, our families were close. We always celebrated holidays together. Thanksgiving. We lived in the project. Gays lived on 73rd Street, 72nd Street. And we would walk from our home in the projects on 13th Avenue and 65th Terrace up to the Gays' house. But it was always with great anticipation for a very good time. Later, after going to school and coming out of college, incidentally, I didn't realize that the Gays were alphas until we got back home here and found out that we were, in fact, brothers. Shortly thereafter, Sam went into the military. And of course, I was still here. But after finishing school, I joined the Army Reserve. Sam was on active duty. And in the reserves, we had to go to summer camp once a year for 2 weeks. Sam was stationed at Fort Benning, and that's where we were having our summer reserve. Well, I was a golfer, or played golf, I should say, and I would take my golf ball. I took my golf clubs up for the first summer when we were there, and asked about the golf course and was pointed to it. I went to it. That was the enlisted men's golf course. Across the street from it was the officers' golf course. And the difference was like day and night. You had sand on one side, you had grass on the other side. Well, I played on the sand side the first summer that I went. But then when I came home, I got in touch with, I think it was Lieutenant Gay at the time. When it was about time for me to go back, I said, look, hey, I need some help so I can play on the officers' course. They said, no problem. When you come up, just get in touch with me and I'll get you out there, which he did. I went and I enjoyed it. It was a beautiful golf course. But when I came back and the commander in charge had a review of our summer camp, he was saying what a great job everybody did and it was a good camp. He said the only problem was that we had an enlisted man impersonating an officer on the golf course. Well, I knew that, he was just going to come down on me. In fact, he talked for about 5 minutes about it and the importance of respecting, people's positions. But he never did call my name. And I was most grateful for that. He never spoke to me about it after. But that caused me to know that I needed to do something about it if I wanted to play golf again. So I applied for a commission and was fortunate enough to receive one, although there were many things that caused me to think that I wouldn't get it. When they reviewed my application and everything and went through the investigation, they called me in and told me that everything was good, other than the fact that they see where I had been arrested. I said, arrested? Arrested for what? They said, well, we don't know for what, but it was in Atlanta. And of course, that reminded me of the times when we were having the sit-ins and so forth, and that's what I was arrested for. Well, I thought that he told me to write a letter and explain myself, and, it would be okay. So I wrote a letter and explained it, and told him if I had it to do over again, I would do the same thing. So I was not really expecting a commission. But a couple of weeks later, I did get that commission, and therefore was able to enjoy the rest of my career. So thanks to Brother Gay for that, among a lot of other things. Just a blessing to know him, his brother James, and his little brother Joe. And we've had quite a relationship over the years. Rest in peace, brother.
Samuel Lamar Gay. Brothers and guests, we have truly lost a giant. Not only a giant in Beta Beta Lambda, but also in Alpha Phi Alpha. I have such fond memories back in the 70s when I joined the Beta Beta Lambda chapter, and the leadership, one of the most outstanding presidents of Beta Beta Lambda, laying before us today. Farewell, my dear brother. Farewell.
Brother Samuel Gay. I came to know Brother Gay when I joined Beta Beta Lambda in 1990. And I quickly gravitated towards him because of the wisdom that he always showed, not only to the younger brothers, but just to brothers in general. He was also a brother. I enjoyed going to various district, regional, and national conventions with Brother Gay, and I just loved it. I loved it when he and his younger brother, Dr. Gay, would get in the car and just start arguing, and we would just sit in the back of the car and just watch him and laugh. And you know, when one guy calls the other guy Lamar and the other one calls the other guy Spencer, or it's Spencer, right? You know that argument has gotten to the point where, you know, we just sat back and watched. But it was fun though, and immediately, you know, they'll make up and take us to the best restaurants in that particular locale. I enjoyed that because to me, that was the brotherhood that I had to learn and memorize when I was trying to pledge Alpha Phi Alpha. It was those things outside of fraternity meetings that I enjoyed about Brother Gay the most. He will be missed. I definitely will miss his wisdom. I'll miss his camaraderie. I'll miss his presence. I could be here forever and just continue to talk about him, but you know, due to brevity, we'll stop. But Brother Gay, you will be missed.
The first time I met the Gay family, I went to Florida State on a football scholarship, and Reverend Kelly was the pastor at St. Paul. And during my transition up there, when I came back, the father, Reverend Gay, was the pastor there. And I had joined Alpha when I was there, and to see Joe, Sammy, and the whole family being there, and you know, just been out of college, not really involved in the frets and things like that. It was Joe and Samuel that got me really involved. And I remember the days like the ball we had at the DuPont Plaza down on the beach and all the great things, and the role model he was for me in the education field and all the things that he did to help us as a people to continue to achieve the goals that we are able to today, even though we have a long way to go. Thanking him and the whole family for all y'all did for me. Thank you.
Brother Doctor, some people actually thought that he was a doctor. But my Uncle Lamar, was like a second father to me. There were times when I would want to find out things from different people, and sometimes when you want to find out what's really going on, you didn't necessarily go to your father. You went to your uncles, because your uncles would kind of give you the real spiel, whereas your father would kind of like say, this is what you should do. And your uncles would say, well, this is what you can do. But always listen to your father about what you should do. And Uncle Lamar was always a good advisor to a lot of the decisions that I made in my life. After my father passed away, not to say that I was lost or discouraged, but I was a little disheveled, as would happen to young men when they lose their father. But he was there to basically give that nudge of guidance. Didn't tell you what to do. Didn't show you what to do. Just kind of nudged you. And you knew from that nudge, that's the direction that you should take. Our family is known throughout Alpha, and it's amazing the amount of calls and recognitions and words of sympathy that we received over the last week. It's absolutely amazing. Calls from people from the Virgin Islands, people from California, New York, New Jersey, Arizona. Brothers calling from all parts of the country, basically giving their piece of what being around my Uncle Lamar. And I'm really sad to say, I don't know if this is true or not, but I might have been the last person to see it. Because I was the one that brought him some food on that Friday, right before he went to the hospital on Saturday. That sticks with me. That sticks with me. He came to the front door. He was in a good mood. He was being his jovial self. But I was hoping, I was praying that that would not be the last time I would see him. I really did. But he's in a better place. He's in a better place, and not only is he in a better place, where he's at is better because he's there. It's better because Sam Getty came to this path, and he has moved on to a better place to make it better. That's the one thing that he always wanted us to do. You always leave things better than than the way you found it. And he definitely did that through his entire life. Gonna miss him. Always gonna love him.
Reflections I have of my Uncle Lamar are all happy times. Fortunately, getting to be one of the younger men amongst the gay clan, even if I am in my mid-40s, the memories we had really stick, you know, and it's one thing to speak of my uncle as a fraternity brother, but I would rather just share a moment or two with you all just about my uncle as my uncle. He was the fun uncle, if you want to call it that. I say that because he used to love to twist our names. He used to love to just, come into our house and bring energy and joy. Always had something, even if it was something that was seemingly negative, he found a way to make it something to laugh about. I was either Joey Woey or Sardashian, even though he knew that wasn't my name. My sister here was Vero, Ronnie Jean. He was the time that we spent at his home. He only lived 4 blocks up the street, but for some reason we would get to go up there for holidays, or we would just spend whatever reason we went up there. It's just fun. It wasn't that we were playing with toys or running around with our cousins all the time because they were significantly older than us, but just the energy that he brought to our lives. I mentioned it to some folks and even wrote a little post about it on Facebook, but one of the small things that he did for us when I lived away in Maryland was no matter what holiday, once my wife and I started having kids, we stayed up there just because it was hard trying to come up and down the road. But out of the blue, we'd get a phone call, whether we were eating dinner or opening Christmas gifts or whatever the time of day it was. It's Uncle Lamar. He might be amongst the rest of the family, just calling because he thought about us. And would pick up the phone and call us just to see what we were eating, see what gifts the kids got, and get on with the kids and just talk to them just for a moment. And that little moment in time is something that has stuck with me for years. My oldest is 13 now, but he was consistent. He wanted us to know that he loved us, that he thought about us, that we mattered, and that always mattered with me. That was one of the things that reason why I can stand here and as broken up as I am inside, he knew how I felt about him too, because he showed it every time he was with us. And that's the kind of memory that I'm happiest with And when we, even we were saying goodbye to our brother Clark a month ago, we walked up and we put flowers on his casket, and we just, simple look at one another as we, did that simple act, that simple gesture. And the transfer of love was there. He was a man who loved his friends, he loved his brothers, he loved his sister, he loved his children more than he loved the world, and grandkids, and he wanted us all to know it. So the reflection that I want to share with you all, just know that man was loved. He was loved. Goodbye, Uncle Lamar. I will always cherish the time I had with you, sir.
I'll say something. I'll say something about my big brother. My heart is touched that I look around this room and I see my fraternity brothers who saw it not robbery to come out in these tough times that we are having in this country, in this world. But you thought that you should be here to see about my brother, Sam. And everything that you heard is true about him. He was a loving man. He was a loving father. He was a loving brother. Oh yeah, we argue all the time, but it's like brothers who argue. If you got a brother that you can't argue with, you don't really love him. But we argued, but it was all in fun. But after the argument was over, there was no hatred or anything like that, which I see sometimes in brothers and sisters. They get so far out that they will hurt each other. That never comes to our mind. My whole family. And our parents taught us to love one another. I became an alpha because I saw alpha men at Knoxville College. But the first alpha man I saw was my brother when he came back from school, and that was James. He came back from Tuskegee, and he had this little silly looking hat. I thought it was a bean. And it comes to find out it was a little cap that the pledges at Tuskegee had to wear. But he also brought back a picture of this beautiful young lady. And I was asking, who in the world is that? And that wound up to be Greg's mother, who he loved so dearly. But Sam came out of school, and he came back home with another picture of a beautiful young woman, and that was Eleanor, his wife. And I said, oh, these guys really found some beautiful girls, so when I go to school, I'm going to find somebody. Which I did. And happy I did. But all those things I learned from my brothers, and especially Sam. I love to travel with Sam. There's just one thing that I hate that I never got to do was to go on a cruise with Sam. Sam hated water. He hated water because he said, well, every time I go out on a boat, I get seasick. I said, well, after a while, you'll stop being seasick, and it'll be just normal, because I used to get seasick when I first went out on the water. But he said, no, I don't want to go on a cruise or anything like that. But he enjoyed himself, he enjoyed his life, and I'm so glad he was able to do many of the things that he sought out to do. So yes, I'm going to miss my big brother, Sam. I'm going to miss him a lot. I'm going to miss calling down the street to get some of my tools back that he had borrowed. But I'm going to miss him. And I know all of us will miss him. Rest in peace, my big brother.